Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Shout out to everybody who watched us on the WKYC app. If you haven't, download that so you can catch us on the first hour. We welcome in YouTube into the mix, and we're going to talk a little bit. We'll get to Luke Kuechly. We'll get to Carson Schwesinger. We talked a little World Cup. We didn't talk about everything. So we'll get to some more of that in the second half of the show. Jason, Lloyd, my man, Dustin Fox in the building.
What's up, man?
Have you guys watched any of the Netflix quarterbacks?
The Baker one?
Yeah.
No, I haven't
either. I wanted to last night and I fell asleep.
I haven't.
But I just saw this clip. It's hilarious.
Is it the visor clip?
No. Well, that's good too. Yeah. If Flacco is stealing the show in this because Flacco is making fun of visors when Dylan and Shador had visors on. He said that those are ridiculous. You don't need them as a quarterback. They're like crap.
I did hear that clip. The morning show played it this morning.
Oh, did they?
So I didn't see it, but I heard it.
Well, just coming out of break, I was just flipping through and I saw this clip of his kid. This is when he was with the Browns. It looks, I want to say it was Baltimore. It just judging, it looks like it's a purple seat they're sitting in, where he said he benched his dad. The kid plays fantasy football and benched Joe. Oh. And he said, if dad goes off, I'm going to crash out. I benched him. And then the wife in a separate interview said, yeah, I benched him too.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So Flacco's own family benched him in fantasy football.
He is kind of, well, the visor thing is definitely for the look. I went through extreme loopholes to get one. We had military coaches and they wasn't playing with nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you had to say, okay, you had to have a prescription. Then you had to go to an eye doctor. So I was like, oh, well, I ain't going to the team doctor. I'm going to go to Dad, sign me up for an eye appointment.
Well, I think Joe was talking visors for quarterbacks, not
Joe
visors
said,
in general.
Well, they were talking for quarterbacks.
Joe said just quarterbacks.
Well, because a couple of things. As a quarterback, you need to see, right?
Yeah.
And the visor gets foggy.
Yes, and it gets dirty.
It gets dirty. It's really difficult to see out of. I know I wore one until basically my sophomore year. Mm-hmm. And then I realized, you know what? It's hot in August and September, and I can't breathe in this damn thing. And so I'm just not going to wear a visor.
But you know what's... Go ahead, finish.
No, it's literally is just a fashion statement.
So I just bought a new Riddell helmet for my son for football, and it's like the concussion, the top of the line, concussion proof and everything. And they said the way that it's shaped and the face mask and everything, you almost have to have a visor. Like they because you can get fingers in from the sides now.
Okay.
And so like they almost require it, like it isn't mandatory, but like you really need to wear a visor with this. So I'm curious to see how it goes.
I guess that'll be one helmet you maybe have to wear it for.
It's the one it's actually the one Miles wore last year.
Okay,
if you remember how open it is on the side.
So from a protection standpoint, I get that. I'll just tell you though. I mean, like when we were growing up, it was a look thing.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like think about the fact that in college you couldn't wear tinted visors unless you're Mike Doss or Willis McGahee.
I don't.
I mean, this guy McGahee got away with the mirrored visor.
I do not understand. This dude gets that off, bro. He had a mirrored
Doss.
I think Doss had a little prescription thing.
But I had one in high school. So I was like, listen, I'm gonna have one in high school. But you're right. I had wore it all through high school, and then just because they wanted to prove a point, there's like, oh no. When you run, you got to wear your helmet for gassers, and you're going to keep your visor on. Yeah. And boy, you got to be in shape with a visor because Dustin's right. Oh, you can't breathe.
So my senior year, I had a really bad concussion in spring ball, and so I had to wear a dark tinted visor like for the rest of spring ball. And honestly, I mean, I look sweet.
You look crazy,
but it was not.
It wasn't.
Dude, I was huffing and puffing.
You know what's interesting about that is, I mean, it's junior high. They will not allow them to wear tinted visors because they said if you have a head injury, the officials have to be able to see your eyes.
Yeah. You're right.
So, but you have a head injury, so now wear a tinted.
Well, it was to basically eliminate the light sensitivity at the time. But also, I wasn't playing in a game of spring ball, so I just wore it for the spring.
Yeah.
But man, do you remember when we were kids? Do you remember the Z leader?
Man, come on, man, bro.
With the tie strips that you had to put on that thing,
bro. Listen, those joints. Like, first of all, they had zip ties.
Yeah, the zip ties, and they were sharp when you cut them.
Yeah, like you couldn't do it. Man, there was a whole bunch. Remember the Newmans? We
could just go into a
whole gear
tangent.
Stuff that was not
gear
functional
from Pee Wee football.
Yeah. So here's the thing: we're going to talk about Luke Kuechly compared to Carson Schwesinger, and it's a shame because Luke Kuechly His career got cut short because of the concussions. So hopefully that doesn't happen to Carson Schwesinger, but there's a little comparison with that McNuggets.
Yeah, ESPN's continuing its rankings of the top 10 at each position, and the Browns have yet to have someone crack the top 5. Or at least they were yet to have someone crack the top 5 at their respective position until Carson Schwesinger came in at number 3 on ESPN's off-ball linebacker rankings. Fred Warner and Roquan Smith, unanimous 1 and 2. After that, Carson Schwesinger, the 2025 Defensive Rookie of the Year, the future face of the Browns defense, coming in at number 3. You had Zach Bond in Philly coming in at number 4. Jack Campbell of the Lions at number 5. We'll run through 6 through 10 real quick. Azeez Al-Shahir of Houston at number 6. Jordan Brooks of the Dolphins at 7. Nick Bolton, Edgerrin Cooper, Devin Lloyd, 8, 9, and 10. This is how Schwesinger's voting broke down, by the way. It's a bunch of NFL coaches, personnel executives, front office executives. He had the highest vote, was number 2 on a ballot. He was off a ballot completely. That person said he had to do it 2 years in a row. He took the bull approach before he could put him in the top 10. And he was compared by multiple people in this survey to Hall of Famer Luke Kuechly. These are 2 quotes from executives on Carson Schwesinger. The first says, quote, there we go. He's Luke Kuechly reincarnated. Elite speed, athleticism, instincts, and ball skills. The second quote, he plays fast, excellent instincts, good in coverage, impressive for a rookie. That comes from an AFC evaluator. Jason, when you look at Carson Schwesinger, he's drawing comparisons to Luke Kuechly from some. Obviously won DPO Defensive Rookie of the Year last season. When it's all said and done, how good can Carson Schwesinger be? What is his ceiling?
I think it's impossible to say after 1 year, but I mean, listen, if he comes anything close to Luke Kuechly, what a home run pick that is. Kuechly only played 8 years, was a Pro Bowl in 7 of the 8, and was so dominant he got into the Hall of Fame, or he will be enshrined here in a few weeks, right?
Yeah.
He's in this class.
Yep.
So if they get anything close to that, I mean, just think about the list that he's on. To be 3rd on that list after 1 year behind Fred Warner, who's the highest paid linebacker in the league, well, off-ball linebacker in the league, and Roquan Smith. I mean, those are franchise pillars, both of those guys. And to go from a 2nd-round pick to 3rd on that list it's a testament to the type player he is. But I mean, you ask me to put a ceiling, I think the sky's the limit for him. I remember we were talking about this in training camp last year, and I said, guys, you guys are going to love Carson Schwesinger. Like, that dude plays with his hair on fire every freaking snap. And they listen. There's no doubt to me they got a winner in this guy.
Yeah, his ceiling is a lot higher than most linebackers would have because he's a true rare 3-down linebacker. He's a guy, most linebackers are in between 1st and 2nd down linebacker where they're in on rundowns or the base package. And then you might got a guy who comes in who's more of a will linebacker who's, dropping in coverage when the nickel package is coming in. But he's a guy that, has the size and physicality to be able to take on blockers. He has the speed to run around blockers and avoid blockers. He has the instincts to understand and diagnose plays. His drops are good hands. He's had interceptions and passes deflected. And he's sideline to sideline. So for me, you look at him, he's one of those dudes where that's why linebackers don't technically go that high because they're not 3-down guys. He's a true 3-down guy who you don't lose anything. You don't lose anything in the pass game. You don't lose anything in the run game. Good at his run fit. So he's one of them dudes where, if he can stay healthy, I always knock on wood because, JOK was a monster. I thought JOK was getting to the highest level, and unfortunately the injuries happened. But for Carson Schwesinger, hey, if he anywhere near Luke Kuechly, Browns will be all right defensively.
I was so impressed with it with this kid as a rookie last year. The fact that he is able to come in, learn this defense, play so well in a complex scheme with Jim Schwartz was impressive. The way he was able to fight through the injuries. I mean, the guy's out there with like half a hamstring, and he still running to the ball, making plays. Getting to the football is half the battle, and then he gets there with a bad attitude. I love this guy. I love his his athletic ability. It's not like he's, sometimes guys play this position and they're just like overachievers. Mm-hmm. He's very athletic.
Yeah.
He's fast. He's got great hips. Like, he just does everything that you want a linebacker to be. And God, man, like he's a guy that I think Browns fans are going to have for like a decade and buy his jersey and count on him every single Sunday, like Joe Thomas, to show up and show out, because that's what this guy is all about. I love his story too. Like, he was not even a starter until like a senior year, and he's had to earn it every step of the way. Becomes a pretty high draft pick, and then turns into a baller as a rookie.
And he's not a physical specimen.
Doesn't have to be though. I mean, he's an athlete, but he is probably a little undersized for the position that he plays. But you wouldn't know it by the way he plays.
Right.
Who's the linebacker? I'm thinking about a couple of years ago. You probably covered one for the Browns. Inside linebacker, ended up going to the Jaguars in free agency. Came out of Wisconsin, played middle linebacker.
Oh God.
We
drafted him.
Who was it? This got to be like 2014, 20. He made a Pro Bowl too.
I know who you're talking about.
You know exactly who I'm talking about. Made a Pro Bowl.
I think he played in Green Bay.
He played for the Jaguars. They kind of let him walk, but this had to be around 2014, 15, 16, somewhere in there. His name is right on the tip of my tongue, and I can't quite get it. McNuggets will find it. But regardless,
Jabal Shed?
No.
Joe Schobert.
Schobert.
Yes.
Good pull. Good pull. Number 53.
Yeah, Joe Schobert. He's not that, because I think he's a much better athlete than Joe Schobert. But Joe Schobert was one of those guys who kind of was, didn't look unassuming, didn't look the part. The thing I like about Schwesinger is, like you said, he's a late bloomer. And some of the things with them late bloomers, you got to think, and Tyvis said this when he was on, he said sometimes it clicks for people late. And it clicked for him like when it was almost too late. Like, I mean, dude, he didn't start like his senior year.
Right.
He was a walk-on. So think about that. Like, he plays with a walk-on mentality. He was just a couple of weeks ago, in his mind, like, I was almost out of here. I wasn't even a guy that was even mentioned. When they drafted him, I said, who is this? Like, because I'm looking at, I don't remember UCLA or any of those teams making noise. But when you're a late bloomer, think about it like this. Now he's immersed. He's hitting more reps. He's picking up things. So I think his trajectory, he can get better, Dustin.
No doubt. I'm curious to see how this defense, gets him involved and how they use him this year, because we don't really know what's this guy's name?
Mike Rutenberg.
Rutenberg.
Coach Rudy.
Rutenberg. I don't know exactly how to say it, but we don't exactly know how his defense is going to, implement a guy like Carson Schwesinger. So it'll be fascinating to see early in the season how this defense looks as opposed to last year.
Yeah, Jason, it's the stimulus package. It's like, it's crazy because it's a little exciting and scary, because for the first time, we're going to actually get to see what everybody looks like without Myles Garrett. Like, okay, Alex, right? Yeah, that was cool. Can you get off a block by yourself? Mason Graham, they was looking at Myles Garrett. Or can you hold the point of attack? A Carson Schwesinger, can you still make those plays? So, I'm looking at it in a way. It's scary. It's exciting because you might see some new stuff, but we're going to see what it looks like when you got to do it without Myles Garrett.
I got a question for you guys. So Luke Kuechly was a guy mentioned by two different evaluators in their responses about Carson Schwesinger. I put in the YouTube chat, do you think Schwesinger could end up being as good as Luke Kuechly? 88% said yes, they do. Kuechly's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Like, that's unfair to put on a guy.
Are we getting too far ahead of ourselves after one really, 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 and I want to emphasize this enough, really good rookie season from Schwesinger, but
so
to put Hall of Fame target trajectory, are we getting a little too far ahead of ourselves?
I'll answer it for you guys. I would say, sure, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. This guy played one season in the NFL. We're comparing to a guy who's going to be a gold jacket guy in a month. Mm-hmm. However, if he provides that production for the next 8-10 years, then I think we could be talking about a guy who could be like Luke Kuechly going to the Hall of Fame. Now, Luke Kuechly, remember, only played, I believe, 8 seasons because he retired early with the concussions. So his numbers, he stacked up, early on. and went to a Super Bowl. That was a great season for him and for the Panthers, but didn't get the win. But either way, like, this guy sort of changed football. The way he played, his instincts, how smart he was. I think there's a lot of similarities between these two players, not just the color of their skin and the position that they play.
I'll give you another example. I think, you could do that because you can look at a guy like Patrick Willis for the 49ers. Patrick Willis, I believe, only played 8 years, retired. Linebacker is a very physical position, and I'm starting to see that the way they look at the linebacker body of work, they're looking at it a little different because they understand that it's so tough and difficult on your body. You might not play 10, 12, 13 years, right? Because you're doing a bunch of crashing into people and doing things like that. But the way this game works is, once you start off, my teacher always told me, it's always easier to start off with an A average and then slip down to a B. But if you start off at a C or a C minus, you know what you got to do to bring that C average up to an A? You got to be it's playing catch up. He's already started right where he needed to be. My first year, I was defensive rookie of the year. Now he has the cachet. Now all he got to do is pull up and still keep the numbers consistent. He'll be on the field three downs. He'll have an opportunity to he's the first dude they mentioned on the little small crawl. He's the first person that y'all want to interview him for the games on Monday night. We met with Luke Kuechly Jr. We met with him, and look at and then all you look up in about 5-6 years, he got a resume. That's the way it worked.
Yeah.
And we'll take it because we don't got very many people with resumes.
We do not. We're going to take our first break of this hour. When we come back, the LeBron James saga rolls on. Are you sick of it? We'll discuss that and more next on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Game Day Men's Health Solon is offering 50% off your first month of eligible TRT memberships, which includes free testosterone consultations, free in-body scans, free vitamin B12 injections, and so much more. Every man deserves to know his T levels. Call Game Day Men's Health Solon at 440-201-4919 today and schedule your free consultation. Guys, we are officially on day 15 of LeBron Watch. Free agency started 2 weeks ago yesterday, and we still do not have an announcement from LeBron James. Yesterday, we talked about his upcoming speaking schedule with 2 live podcasts on Thursday and Friday, and a couple other public speaking events as part of the Fanatics Fest, New York City. But last night, Chris Haynes, former Cleveland Cavaliers, now national NBA reporter, put out this report on LeBron James. Quote, I've talked to LeBron James' agent, Rich Paul, and he said, LeBron has all the information needed, so now it's all up to LeBron James to make a decision. Jason, I know that's your best friend, so let me ask you this first. Are you sick and tired of this saga dragging on and all the twists and turns? Are you ready for it to come to a conclusion, whether it's Cleveland or another team?
What did I tell you last week?
You hate LeBron. No, you didn't say that.
I did not say that. I said, Brian, you take all the time you want because the longer this goes on, the less we have to talk about Browns quarterbacks. So we can go on another 2 weeks if you want. I'm cool with it, but take as long as you want so we don't have to rehash the same arguments over and over and over again with no new information. I would imagine this will come to a close here by the end of the week. You know, we talked yesterday about it. I wouldn't be shocked if he announced it on his podcast tomorrow. But, I mean, you know, I thought this happened last week. I am a little bit surprised that it's gone on this long. But he's LeBron. He can do what he wants. He can take as long as he wants. But I do think we'll have closure to this by the end of the week.
I agree. In this podcast tomorrow, I think that seems to be the most likely place that he would announce it. I mean, it's a live podcast, right?
Yeah.
I think it's around 2:00.
1:15 is the podcast.
1:15. Okay. So we might know tomorrow.
Yeah, listen, I'm a content creator. Do it for the gram. He got to line this thing up, man. If I'm going to do a documentary, I got to get all angles. I got to get B-roll. I got to get footage. I got to do interviews. I got to even make it seem like, hey, I talked to Draymond. He did his pitch. By the way, Draymond Green was on his, he's like, why wouldn't I? Why would I not pitch this to LeBron? I got to put our hat in the ring. Went to Miami a little bit and hung out down there. I'm sure he got some footage with some people down there, and they talked about, his infamous bike rides and with the community they used to do down there. So you got to drum it up, man. I'm all for it, man. But I do think this thing winds down by the end of this week, and they get a lot of different things. And I think to this point, LeBron James is a little more savvy. Not saying he wasn't savvy before, but he's in on what they're doing in terms of, why would I go? Before it was it Jim Gray?
Yeah.
And then it was the other guy from Sports Illustrated. Lee Jenkins. Now it's LeBron James. I'll do a podcast. That's why Rich Paul is out here doing podcasts. We'll do the podcast. We'll announce it. And we're going to keep all that energy and mojo.
Yeah, we don't need to give ESPN and these other publications. Was it SI that did or was it SI or was it
SI?
Yeah. So they got the infrastructure now. So I think you'll know by then. And by the way, does it annoy me? No. We ain't got nothing to talk about no way. World Cup
is the middle of July.
Hey, I'm ready to go. It's been keeping the anticipation level because everybody around is waiting on Cleveland.
We did 8 minutes on travel baseball today.
Crazy.
And another 8 minutes on visors.
Crazy work.
You can talk about anything you want in the middle of July. Ain't nothing going on.
Man.
I know I used the word sick when I texted you guys the rundown. I put it in the topic bar, which now is apparently, Zapruder files. I mean, every character determined to pass Jason's approval rating. But I'm not
change the question mid-play.
I'm not sick of the conversation. I'm sick of every detail of this being put under a microscope. Every whisper, every person who knows a person who knows a person who knows a person who knows LeBron, the cupcake lady, the fan sources.
Yep.
Jason, you said it from the get-go, and I've told people no less than probably 50 times since this free agency saga started that Jason Lloyd told me that LeBron is a master manipulator in a good way. I don't mean that as a negative. He will control the narrative. He will announce it on his terms. We are not going to get a leak beforehand. Don't trust. Don't believe. Don't put any credence to some of these online rumors that it may be announced Sunday at noon and a bunch of Z-list guys, including myself, had heard the rumors. It's going to come from LeBron's mouth when he wants to tell the world, and nothing else matters. I'm more sick of the nonstop dissecting every ounce. And we've actually done a good job. I think on this show, we even dove into a lot of the hearsay. We've obviously talked LeBron in a good amount, but we could do 2 hours on LeBron every day if we were taking every rumor. Yeah. That part I'm sick of. But LeBron's earned the right to take as long as he wants. If he wants to drag this out another 2 weeks, to your guys' point, until training camp starts, it's fair game. We got a blank canvas for shows.
But I think everybody is a little more like savvy, because if you're a Cleveland Cavs fan, you done been through this twice. So it's not like you don't know. Like in the first time, I think we had the feeling in 2010 when it was coming up, and we kind of had the feeling he was leaving. Like a lot of people, like for the decision, all the tea leaves were saying, "All right, he's about here." So we kind of had like this nasty feeling in the pit of our stomachs. Then when we started to hear some of the rumblings that he might think about coming back when he left Miami, it was like, oh man, we was excited because it was like, man, this thing has built momentum, and he showed back up. It was like, okay, we love it. And then when he won the championship, we were hearing that he's going to go, and we kind of pretty much knew what that was. So we've had all the emotions where we was going to take an L. We knew he was getting them back. We won the championship, and now it's like we're kind of in the, we're veterans of it. We just, we cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, and because here's the thing, like he's 41, right?
Yeah, it'll be 42.
41 years old, guys. I mean, if we get him, it's amazing. It's great. We're a better team. We'll have a better chance to win a title. Mm-hmm. But if we don't get him, he's 41. We missed out on a guy who's 41 years old. Like, we've already had LeBron for, 11 seasons?
Yeah.
11 seasons. Yeah. Like, he's a Hall of Famer Cavalier. Like, It's been awesome. We won a title with this guy. Would we like to have that nostalgia back? Absolutely. Will we get it back? I think we're going to. But if we don't, I'm not going to be as heartbroken about it as I was when he left the first time or when he left the second time.
It was that was prime. You got to think about it. That was two primes. I thought LeBron the second time he came home, I thought it was a wrap. Like I thought he was here. Like from what he said, I thought it looked like no, dude, I'm coming back home. This is where I want to retire. This is what I'm gonna do. And then the Kyrie Irving thing happens, and it kind of changed the trajectory a little bit. Like where it was like. I think he was thinking along the same lines too, Jason. Like this, I'm gonna stay here. And then the Kyrie thing happened, and I think it kind of opened the door to go.
I think they already knew he was leaving. Everybody knew he was leaving.
So you thought you think if the Cavs would have still been a championship viable team, or they pull off another championship, he leaves.
Yeah, I think he was gone either way. Once they won the first championship, but to your point, so he comes back in 2014, and I remember I was in Vegas at Summer League. When the contract was done, I think when they signed him as a free agent, like when it was officially done, I think I know I was in Vegas when I had this conversation with somebody in the Cavs who said like he's here for his career, like he's not going anywhere. And then at Infosys Stadium, he said like he did a press conference before he did like the big thing in the stadium, and he said I can't go through this again with free agency, like I'm done. Well, clearly, obviously that changed, and he changes his mind all the time. Like listen to Rich. 3 weeks ago, a month ago, he was 80% sure he was going back to LA. 2 weeks later, he was 1,000% sure he was out. Like, people change their minds. And so in 2014, the Cavs thought was, at least their stance was, he's going to end his career here. And I told you guys before, by October of 2016, 2 months after the championship, I'm being told, oh, he's leaving in 2018. So the organization knew he was more than likely leaving. That's why they made the Kyrie trade that they did. That's why they got the unprotected pick from the Nets, because that was the hammer to hold over LeBron, saying, if you leave us again, we're not going to be the disaster that we were the first time. We have this pick, which we don't need to relitigate history, but I thought that was insane.
Are you saying, so the story about LeBron sitting here trying to call the front office, said, don't trade Kyrie, don't trade Kyrie, don't trade Kyrie. Is that more of is that a spin? Like,
No, that was I don't want to get this wrong. He claims he didn't know anything about it until it was basically done. But his part in this also is from the time the trade became public that Kyrie wanted to trade to the time when the trade with the Celtics was pretty much final. LeBron did nothing. He could have picked up the phone and told Kyrie, what are you doing? Like, come in and let's work this out. He didn't do that. And then at the end, when he found out this is a done deal, he's going to Boston, he's like, this is not a good deal. And that's when he called the Cavs and said, don't do this. And they said, it's too late. Like, it's done. So they did that without any of his input. The Kyrie trade was totally negotiated without his input because, again, the organization thought he was leaving, which he did. So they kind of knew. I was told in 2016, 2 months after the championship, He's leaving in 18. He's going to LA. So they had 2 years to know that this is probably how it's going to go. So the Kyrie deal, and that's why they were frustrated with Kyrie, because they're like, listen, we know he's leaving in a year. Hang in there for a year, and this is going to be your team in 2018. And Kyrie's stance, I believe, was this roster is fit for him, not me. I'm going to be left here with his parts. I don't want that. Listen, I don't want to get in the mind of Kyrie or speak for Kyrie because nobody can do that. He's walked to his own beat.
He's a one-on-one.
But that was the thinking at the time, was he didn't want to be here with the LeBron pieces leftovers for a team that was going to be his team. He wanted to get out from underneath that shadow.
All right, that sounds like a thing.
To Mike's point, the thing that I am sick of is everybody thinking that like they're intrepid reporters now and everybody trying to get a piece of the pie. There are very few people who are inner circle reporters that I would trust with information on this. I mean, obviously Brian's one of them. Windhurst is one of them. Joe Varden is one of them. McMenamin's one of them. I used to be one of them. I'm not anymore. I don't claim to be. Like I think I've been.
Chris?
Yeah, Chris is.
Chris is
I would trust what Chris has to say. But I think I've been pretty transparent. Like, I'm just a spectator on this one, guys.
Here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to be Adam the Bull and ask you specific names. What about the night? Go do that. Shout out to
But I've seen a lot of reports from a lot of reporters over the last 2 weeks. I'm like, come on, man. You don't know nothing. You're just you're throwing a dart and you're trying to make your name off of this. You're trying to stake a claim.
Listen, they trying to listen.
Bro, do you remember the second time, I guess when he came back in 14, the amount of guys that we followed, and like, who was the guy?
There was like fitness guy. There was cupcake lady.
But who was the guy that? My God, he had his own website. It wasn't Mark Stein. It was this other
Chris Sheridan.
Yeah.
I remember the Sheridan.
Remember Chris Sheridan?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I remember that. There was a lot of.
And he had claimed, and I think, I mean,
he got it right.
The first right.
He got it right.
He claimed he was the first one to have it.
He got it right in 10 that he was leaving, and 14 he was coming back.
Yeah.
And Chris used to work for ESPN.
Yeah, he did.
So back a long time ago. So
is he still alive, that guy?
Yeah, I believe, but he's not in. He doesn't do a whole lot.
Yeah,
media.
Yeah, but I remember that guy was like locked in, and then there was like wasn't it the tattoo kid or the tattoo artist?
Yeah,
that guy?
Yeah. That's who I said fitness guy, but I think it was tattoo.
I think he was a fitness tattoo guy.
Yeah,
but he was claiming that he knew.
Yeah, and that's the part that I'm like. I mean, people do talk, and sometimes the information is true, and sometimes it's not. But if you're going to believe that stuff, then that's on you. But that is the stuff, Mike, that I get sick of after a while.
When Dustin, you kind of mentioned this.
Yeah.
It always happens because it's just the way it's supposed to happen. It's called the morning after stimulus package. Calls. When LeBron gets here,
is that Plan B?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. It's an extra dang, bro. That was a bar, Jason Lloyd. That was fire. When LeBron gets here, we're like, you know what? He's 41. It'll make us a little better. But when he show up, all of a sudden, Jared Allen's going to be a bona fide all-star. All of a sudden, Evan Mobley's unlocked. All of a sudden, Donovan Mitchell is the best closer in the game. Do you think we'll get excited to the point where we will pretty much just overinflate what we're talking about? Will we get happy and be like, New York who? What are you talking about? We got LeBron.
I mean, we're going to be cocky.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Like, I don't know that we're going to go as far as say we're going to win a title, but I do think we'll have a lot of confidence that they'll be in the NBA Finals. Why would you not? I mean, every year LeBron's been here, the second go round, they went to the NBA Finals.
They did. Is the stimulus package the same, Jason?
I believe for me, they would be my team to beat in the East. Now, I know Vegas is not going to agree with that, and there's a lot of NBA people who would not agree with that. But I've seen it before. Yeah, I would pick them to be the favorites in the East.
Question.
Not to win the whole thing. But
now, this is the most fascinating part, guys. We haven't delved into it because I think we don't want to just open this can of worms early. But are we going to be talking about the personality fits throughout the year?
Oh, sure.
Wait till he gets here before we dive in.
See, all the media people don't want to. They don't want to touch that. They don't want to touch it. Anybody listen?
No.
It's teetering.
We could go into all that and then it's null and void if he ends up signing somewhere
Right.
else. So
Right.
that's a
I told you.
it's a real discussion to have. It's just
if I'm chalking it up,
it'd be like saying, hey, which 2027 quarterback do you like most for the Browns to draft? And you're like, hold on. We got to see if Shador's the guy or not. No point in discussing 2027 quarterbacks.
Hold on.
Same situation.
But here's the
with
thing.
the Cavs.
It's the reality of the situation is you can't avoid the conversation because it's Arch Manning. So there's certain conversations of certain people that names are going to be in the background at all times. Like, it's just Arch Manning. It's just like what they said the 2027 class, the sweepstakes is Arch Manning. Yeah, I mean,
Now,
Dante Moore.
I don't think he's the number one guy on most boards right now.
Listen, watch how that changes.
I mean, I think he'll end up being the number one guy, but right now, Dante Moore is the prohibitive favorite to be
listen,
the number one dude.
Nobody in Vegas will remember that. What I'm saying about LeBron is this is the fascinating part to me is there's a lot of people that will say, okay, because I'm assuming he's coming. He's going to get here. Then what is it going to be? Because when he came here the first time, he had a bunch of young guys. It was a bunch of young guys that he was trying to show the way. He coming here now. He got Hall of Fame. You got James Harden. You got Donovan Mitchell, who just signed a deal. You got Evan Mobley. You got guys that have been.
They did have young guys. They did, Kyrie and Tristan, but they also got Dion out of here, and they brought in veterans and Shump and JR.
Yeah, they did.
He brought his guys with him, and Mike Miller and James Jones. Mm-hmm. Sean Marion showed up for a year.
Yep.
So it was, and we've talked about this before, LeBron does not like playing with kids. Like, he likes veteran-laden teams, and that's what I was told the summer of 2014 before he came back. It's like, listen, he ain't coming back here to play with a bunch of kids. They're gonna have to address this roster. And sure enough, they made the Dion trade. They bring in JR and Shump. And that was the single most significant deal, I believe, of that whole era. I think. I don't think I'm missing one. Mozgov was a big deal at the time because it re-engaged LeBron mentally, even though I thought it was a terrible deal. But
he made a lot of money.
Mozgov?
Yeah,
oh, yeah. They gave 2 first-round picks for it, which I thought was insane. But it doesn't matter. The J.R. Shump deal is what really sort of and the Channing Frye deal was a big one, too, for the locker room. But the on-court fit, Shump and JR, was huge for this team. But the greater point is, he likes playing with veterans. He doesn't really he's not kind of like the Flacco. He don't want to be a babysitter.
A mentor.
He's not playing nursery school here. Like, he wants to go out and he wants to compete and he wants to win. So I do think that the roster's built that way. But at the same time, he's 41 years old. You're not going to cater to everything that he wants. And they moved away from that his last year anyway, where they stopped doing everything like the Kyrie trade. He didn't want it done. They did it anyway. He wanted Griff back. They got rid of Griff, and they promoted Kobe to GM. They gave him Dwayne. That was the one thing he wanted. He wanted Dwayne Wade, and they brought Dwayne in, and that was a disaster, and then they had to ship him out. And there was a player, oh, God, who was the shooter? There was a shooter that he was
Crawford?
No. There was a free agent shooter.
Mike Miller.
No, there's a free agent shooter that they were recruiting to bring in, and they didn't sign him. They brought Jetty Osman up instead. So they started pivoting away from him his last year that he was here. So I don't think he's going to come in and start throwing around demands at 41, 42 years old when you know he's only here for a very brief time, maybe 2 years, 1 year, maybe 2. So that's the dynamic that I would be curious to watch, is if there is any sort of power struggle or leverage play, or if he wants to start calling shots in terms of like things that he wants around him, how you respond to that.
All right, McNuggets, we talked about the glory days for the Cavs. They won in 2016, but the Browns ain't won nothing since 64, 62, whatever year it is. We'll talk about our greatest games that we remember coming back right here on Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. This is a fun little topic. We talk about games all the time, and for the Browns, generally speaking, there isn't much to get excited about because they have not had the playoff success. But McNuggets told us that it's a little fun little exercise in giving your best game, not the most, like I guess the most impactful, but one of the games that you fondly remember in terms of the Browns since 1999. So I thought this was interesting because we got two people, right? Jason is dead inside, so I want to see which game where did he, if I go figure out where he died inside, and then Dustin, I'm going to see which one you have because I don't think it's in the last 8 years. So I'm going to start with you, okay. Dustin.
Well, it is within the last 8 years. This is 2018.
Ooh, lean times.
Don't know if you remember this, but this was Thursday night football against the New York Jets.
Ah, yes.
And I believe Tyrod was the starter, got hurt, in comes Baker Mayfield, and just took – I've never heard that stadium so loud as to when he led them down the field. They scored the touchdown, and then I think it was the touchdown was to Higgins, and then they did the Philly special. Baker catches the 2-point conversion. When he caught that 2-point conversion and took that iconic photo, I've never heard it as loud. And I was on the sidelines because I was working sidelines for the Browns for like the half of that season. I was filling in. And so I was down there and got to experience that. And it was funny because I remember like for the Jets, Isaiah Crowell was coming back to town.
I remember. And he did that celebration.
Yeah. And they get the win. And then if you remember, that's when the Bud Light fridges all got unlocked. So there was free beers throughout the city. I mean, it was just a really special night.
That's an iconic picture right there.
Yeah, I think that was the one I was talking about.
Everybody remembered it. I don't care what you thought of Baker at one point in time. That game was it. I thought the call, he said the Philly special, like who was doing it? What's the name?
It was Buck and Aikman on the call.
Yeah, it was.
I remember because I talked to Aikman on the field before the game.
It was Buck, and it was like, yo, I was like, man, we had took so many L's, and for that day, everybody, I don't care if you was who you was, everybody thought you had one in Baker Mayfield. You just knew. He threw this rocket. He threw a rocket on the goal line, probably like 30-yard back shoulder seam throw. And I was sitting there telling, I said, Brian, seen it throw like that in 5 years for the Browns. He threw a back shoulder seam route. Now, we didn't have back shoulder in the capabilities. Like we had nothing like that. And when he was throwing the football like that, I was like, man, we just had momentum and energy. And then, like, I think the next game, they end up benching Carlos Hyde. And then Nick Chubb started running wild.
And Hyde got traded.
To Jacksonville. And then we was like, yo, we got something here, Jason.
The answer should be the playoff win in Pittsburgh during COVID.
Yeah.
Like, they won a playoff game.
Yeah.
That's what it should be.
Yeah.
But I think COVID took a lot out of that season, and just the fact that no one could be there and be in attendance and everything for whatever else. So my answer is actually the same as Dustin's. It was that Thursday night against the Jets because for a lot of the reasons that you said, and the beer cooler idea was just brilliant marketing.
So good. I still have. They sent me a fridge.
Yeah.
It's on my deck.
But Zach and I were walking out. That's when I first started covering the Browns because I left the NBA. We were just talking about LeBron last segment. LeBron leaves in July of 2018. So then I shifted into a different role to where I started hanging out with all three teams and sort of being around all three. So that was my first time being around the Browns really consistently. And we took the ramp down. The line for the elevator is too long. I don't remember, but we were on the ramp walking out of the stadium. So we just heard the "Here we go, Brownies, here we go" chants over a September win or whatever it was. But it had been so long since they won a freaking game. It felt like they'd won a playoff game. The fans were so electric after that. And just the excitement in the city. And then the thing that will always stick with me was, so we get down in the locker room, and the locker room opens usually when the head coach goes to the interview room. The locker room opens. So Hugh goes in the interview room, and I would rather go to the locker room. So I went directly into the locker room, and there was very, very few people in the locker room. But I heard this clickety-clack of Jim Brown's cane walking through the locker room. It's a dead silent locker room. You just hear the clickety-clack, clickety-clack, clickety-clack. of Jim Brown walking over, and he walked up to me and he goes, I think we found one. I think we got our guy
That's cool.
in Baker. And then he just kept right on walking, and like the smile on his face. So it's for those reasons. Like it was a regular season September game, and I think Earl had mentioned the Run William Run game against the Falcons to clinch the playoff way back however long ago. And I think that was more for Jimmy's call that makes that more memorable. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they won a game to clinch the playoffs, but the Run William Run makes that so much more memorable. But for me, it was just, I think it was the fans as we were on the ramp leaving the stadium and how electric everything was, just the marketing genius of the beer coolers, and then Jim Brown in the locker room, the excitement and the joy on Jim Brown's face of like, hey, we finally got a quarterback.
I think, man, those two games, my honorable mention was the Tim Couch Hail Mary in '99 against the Saints was huge because it was a team.
Can I give you mine real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
As the newest Clevelander of the group, my memory of what I've experienced here only goes back to the 2022 season. The two games that I'll remember the most fondly was Cade York kicking the field goal at the buzzer.
I forgot about that.
To beat the Panthers and Baker in week 1.
Yeah.
Our very first game we ever had UCSS for, and Bull obviously freaking out and puking the next day. Like that,
Bull
maybe for less
on air.
game reasons, I'll always remember fondly.
The
And then the other one was when they clinched the playoff spot in 23 with Flacco against the Jets on Thursday night. I was living right downtown by the stadium. I could hear the eruptions of the crowd throughout the entire game. Afterwards, the entire downtown section of Cleveland was a frenzy in the best way possible. So I've only been around here for, this will be my 5th season, so small sample size.
Those are good ones,
Those two games in particular always stand out to me.
I can't believe nobody mentioned this one. It's the prelude. It was the best. It's the best 2-week or 3-week sample size in the world. Browns are at home. They're playing the Steelers. The last game of the year. They have to win the game. They beat the Steelers, I believe, by 1 or 2. And to run the clock out, it's a 3rd and 4. And they run a quarterback almost jet sweep. And Baker Mayfield slides to clinch the game, inbounds, the clock runs out, and they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers to make the playoffs. And Jim Donovan talks about, like, I can't believe it, the Browns is going to the playoffs. They come back. So they beat the Steelers the last game of the season. They get in the playoffs, have to go to Pittsburgh, and you're like, when's the last time the Browns beat the Pittsburgh Steelers twice in the same season? You don't remember it. Then it's like, it was this eerie feeling of COVID happens, there's nobody in the stands, and it just seems like the Twilight Zone because the Browns, they snapped the ball over Ben Roethlisberger's head. It's a 7-0 lead, and you just look around and say, oh, my God, this is not reality. They're like 28-0.
Yeah.
And you're looking like this has to be a cruel joke. There is no way that these guys are doing this on TV. And because everybody was at home, including Kevin Stefanski, everybody was looking like, nah, this is BS right now. This is not a thing. And they won the game. And I was like, and to this day, I'm going to be honest with you, Sione Takitaki is getting interceptions, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Like, that game, I don't know what happened, but to me, it's still in my mind, there's no way that the Browns were supposed to win that game the way they did. But they did 2 weeks in a row against the Steelers. So, for me, I'm gonna take that 2-week period.
The COVID year is just a blur. I don't remember hardly any of the game. Obviously, I remember the Chiefs, the playoff game against the Chiefs, and I remember the Browns playoff game, the win over the Steelers. But I had totally forgotten about what you said about the week prior, how they had to beat Pittsburgh to get in.
Yeah.
Like all that whole season, just because it was so weird. I watched every game from the couch, and I wasn't in any of the stadiums, and nobody was in any of the stadiums. And it was just... I have like hardly any recollections of anything that happened during COVID sports-wise.
I took a screenshot and looked at it, and at one point in time, the screenshot said the Browns were 9-3. I went back to look at to watch this stuff to think about like, and the game against the Tennessee Titans, who I think were 8-3 at the time, like they were a great team. They was rolling in it, and the Browns come out and Hollywood Higgins and Donovan Peoples-Jones just catch long touchdowns and they blow them out, and I'm like, That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Like it's ridiculous. But then they ended up losing to the Jets, who were like 1-something, and didn't have any receivers because of COVID. Like the Jets did not have.
Yeah, that's right. I
They
remember
lost
that
week
now.
16, 23-16. The Jets receivers that game. Oh my goodness.
They didn't have receivers. They just had tight ends. They did.
Braxton Berrios and Jamison Crowder combined for 10 catches for 150 yards.
And I was like,
Who was the quarterback for the Jets?
Sam Darnold.
Sammy D. Yeah, the Browns lost that.
And Jamison Crowder threw a 43-yard touchdown on a flea flicker reverse receiver pass. So
yeah, that year was crazy.
Yeah, Nick Chubb had 11 carries for 28 yards. Baker, 28 of 53 for 285 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, a 15.6 QBR. And Jamarcus Bradley.
Jeez.
Oh, you mean the Browns had no receivers?
Yeah, the Browns had no receivers.
Yeah. Austin Hooper,
Browns
Harrison Bryant, Njoku, Andy Janovich all had receptions, and Jamarcus Bradley, who's listed as a receiver, who had 4 catches for 64 yards all season, and they all came in that game.
No,
So-
they didn't have receivers. So yeah,
Why did we not have receivers? Was everyone hurt?
Tested
No,
positive.
COVID. Everyone-
It was COVID.
That's
Yeah.
That was
right.
when
Contact
an
tracing.
entire receiver room or entire defensive back room could miss a game because one guy.
the one had COVID.
Don't forget that.
It was like when the Broncos quarterback room all got it, and Tim Patrick had to play quarterback in that horrific game.
And then we lost. I think we lost to them because they had their quarterback room out and they played somebody. And I think one year we lost. It was crazy.
Tim Patrick.
Yeah,
played,
that was him. All right, so listen, when we get back, we got some super chats coming up, and we doing trivia. We might do trivia.
I got a good one today.
All right,
I
let's
got a
do
good
trivia.
Welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We just have one super chat, and I'm going to take the super chat question. I'm going to spin it a little bit and ask you guys this. The Real Night King says LeBron's podcast this week are about to do numbers, and he's right. Jason, if LeBron said, I'm going to announce my decision on either Thursday or Friday's podcast, it's for all you guys, do you think it would break the number of live concurrent listeners on a podcast ever?
What is that number? Rogan? Does Rogan have it?
Either
when he
Rogan
did
or
presidential?
McAfee when Aaron Rodgers announced he was coming back.
I think it would probably. I think Rogan would be higher because Rogan had presidential stuff going on.
But I'm not sure the live numbers on that were as high. I'm saying the live numbers. I'll look it up while you're.
I would say, regardless if he announces it or not, the numbers going into it are going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, do they have
because
the
people
bandwidth?
are going to assume he's going to announce it. It's like if he announces it, yeah, people are going to tune into it just to hear more.
Yeah.
But it's not like they're going to know. Like you want to tune in so you can anticipate it.
Right. And plus,
wait, real quick. I got the answer for you. The most live concurrent viewers on a YouTube show ever was the New Heights podcast when they had Taylor Swift on.
Oh, we should.
How many?
1.3 million.
How long?
But that's just YouTube.
Yo, let me just tell you something. If you had 1.3 million concurrent viewers and you podcasted an hour, bro, do you understand that check? That's monumental. Yeah. Like that, because they're gonna, like, based on how many ads you play, advertisers gonna pay you an arm and a leg for that. Like, that's ridiculous. I thought you was gonna say something like maybe 500,000 McNuggets. They had how many?
1.3, which broke the record, which was previously held by Joe Rogan's live interview with Donald Trump.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, that is people will retire off that. I'm good. I'm going home. I ain't doing no more interviews after that.
All right, real quick trivia. Who holds the record in Cleveland baseball history for most home runs before the All-Star break? You guys got 15 seconds.
Cleveland record for most home runs before the All-Star break. Manny or Bell?
Pronk.
Nope.
Hold on.
Show him, Steve, because we got 2 seconds. It's Jose, 29 in 2018. He's the home run king.
Really?
Cleveland.
Wow.
We're back tomorrow
never
on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Peace.